Hi, everyone, and welcome. This is Karen Newman, and this is the Saturday Human Colony Hucolo webinar. It is Saturday, the 4th of May, 2019, and today we have a very special guest from the Netherlands. She's a good friend of mine. Her name is Janna Hopman, and she will be joining us. Hi, she's waiting. And just to say who we have in the room, we have Christine, we have David, Dawn, Jen, Scott, I believe, and Michelle, and Reinhard, and myself. And to just do a few little announcements before we get going, just a reminder that on the 8th through the 12th of August in Rochester, New York, will be the 4th Ascension workshop. So if you're interested in signing up, that will be conducted by Jim and Max. There'll be lots of classes and channeling and learning to channel and Reiki and all kinds of fun activities up in Rochester. You can go to hucolo.org and you will see the things about the signing up for the workshop. Also on Amazon.com, you can buy the book that was written by Jim Charles and Max Rempel. It's called From the Galaxy with Love, a Lightworker's Handbook, and it is a culmination of several years of channeling and just the perspective that our otherworldly friends have brought us on the role of a light worker, how to get started, how to find your path, what is the meaning of life, everything in between. But it's a beautiful book, and it's available for download on Kindle, also as an ebook, as a voice book. I don't know how to say that. You can listen, an audio book, and still a hard copy. So please check it out on Amazon.com. Okay, so normally we start with a blessing. So Dave said he would lead us first, and I'm gonna pop it over to you. Go ahead, David.
Okay. 1 second to get in the space. Kinekutu shinikiwa taka shona. Ishkineme ete kowa ete shi kunewehete shewahana kalakote shewaha.
Thank you. Karen?
Yeah.
Okay, very well.
Go ahead now. Go ahead. Go ahead, John.
Are you talking to me?
Yes, whenever you're ready.
Okay. Hi, guys. Okay, I'll do the blessing in front then.
Okay.
Okay, just tune in. Yana kata ane e te ihan taka anta ai ha. He urtina na ha katata ai Titini he katata ano oike ha tata irte ono uputana pe tatane I utututututu antata yana akate ai mono ono kututu akata ya.
Thank you. And what do you know what language you're speaking?
I think it's a sort of, it's a universal language, and it's a sort of what my Arcturian guides say. It's still sort of a light encoded sound that I verbalize. So when I do this, it's always light encoded and I use it a lot in healing as well.
Perfect. Okay. They sounded a little bit like the language David was speaking. I even heard.
Okay. And what is he speaking?
I don't know. David, do you know which language you're speaking? Okay, he's not paying attention. His picture looks frozen, but it sounded the same. I don't know if anyone else heard that.
It didn't sound the same to me, but
well, I heard a few similar words, so
okay,
it's okay.
Okay.
So anyway, so welcome back. It's been nice to have you back again today.
Thank you.
Welcome. So for the people who don't know you, and because we haven't had you before, but for the people who are new, why don't you tell them a little bit about yourself, what you do, maybe your beautiful Stargate there, and then we'll start from there.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm a what they call a light worker on my path right now. I help a lot of people through their ascension process. I do that in workshops and in ascension groups I host here in my space, but also on the web in a bit, and I give workshops, and in the workshops we work with the Stargate as a portal, and I bring in a lot of the you called it so nicely, the otherworldly friends. That's nice. I'm going to take that one from you. I channel a lot of the galactics, and mainly my own guidance from the Arcturian collective, Jaldi, who is my main guide there, and I'm a channel for the Pleiadians and the Ascended Masters, and sometimes the dragons, and sometimes other beings that come in. Depends on who is within the groups, because we're always served on what is necessary or what is serving the highest good of the whole group that is there, or serving the highest good of the person who is doing the session.
Right. Okay. Perfect.
Ascension coach is at the moment is the most channel, and ascension coach is the most description of my work right now.
That's perfect. For the people who are wondering, in the description is Janna's website. She does private sessions as well as group sessions, and she's got a lot of things starting to come out online. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. That's in the early stages, but there's a lot of I host three ascension groups right now at my own space that you see behind here, with a little build so everybody can fit in. Yeah. But I noticed there's a huge demand for that, because there's a lot of people awakening, and when you are awakening, it's hugely helpful if you have a sort of light family around you that you can share with, and that you can share the process of awakening with. And also because a lot of people don't have already have within their own surroundings with family and friends that they can talk about the stuff we are sharing today.
Right.
And you need a safe space to share that, and also to mirror that with other people around you. So I'm doing that now in my own space. The third group, the other, it's running for years actually already. But I have 3 groups now. But I also have people with international sessions I do that. In France and England and America and Canada, who want to do it, and then I have to go online. So I will be looking into doing that online and making a webinar. So if you're interested in that, keep yourself updated. Or I will also, if you want to join my email list, I will send out an email when I'm ready to do that.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so we had a conversation earlier just to discuss some of the topics. I know when I approached you about doing a webinar a few weeks ago, you said, "Oh, I've got so much information now about." Oh, hello.
Well, wait, that's I think somehow my internet is checking out.
Oh, no problem.
Well, that's a problem. Okay.
Okay. Well, anyway.
Wait a minute. It's still not.
Sure.
It has been working all the time. But,
no, I think it was fine. I mean, I don't think your internet went anywhere. It was just like a little ring of a bell. Oh, no, she's frozen. Okay, maybe she's right. Well, in any case, let me just flip back to me. I'll just tell you. Here we go. So is everyone else there? We're okay? Everyone's still with us? Yes? Wave your hand.
We're still on.
Okay, perfect.
We're still live.
So basically, when I spoke to Janna, has always been for me since I met her. She's been just a support and a go-to person for me. Whenever I start to get confused, or I don't know what's happening, or I need direction, or I need someone to, like a sounding board. So she's always been there. She just has this attunement with the current energies, what's coming, how, you know, how things are coming in. And a few weeks ago, when I told her that I'd like her to come back and do the webinar, she said, oh, there's so many energies that are coming in right now. She said, I really have so much to talk about. So today we want to hit on one of those, but I just want to give her the moment to relog and to come back. So just let's give her a moment. Talk amongst yourselves. I guess is the best way to say it. Sorry for this break in the webinar. That was a good time. If you can get some tea and some coffee, and let me just send her a quick message. Oh, there she is.
Yeah, there we are.
Oh, you're right. Okay, no problem.
It was somehow my cord didn't work, so
no problem.
I'm fine now. Sorry for that.
Well, you're back. You're back. So welcome back. So what I was saying when you were gone is that since I met you, you've sort of become like a sounding board for me, and you know, we try to talk to each other and sound off ideas to each other about what's going on in the universe. And when I approached you a few weeks ago about coming on, you said, yes, I've got so much now new information about that I'm integrating, that I'm seeing in my classes with different people on what's going on. So, you know, this group tends to be very much on the cusp of new information and, you know, feeling the energies and things. So probably the people watching and also the people here in the room probably also are feeling a lot of things. But if you want to just maybe share with us what you've been experiencing and what you're seeing.
Well, I'm always eager to give a sort of a counter voice to what the regular media are not saying, and they are very much still on the hand of the dark side or the dark information, on installing fear, on bringing a lot of information. What is is the darker side of humanity. And as I am a light worker and I see a lot of people who are going through the ascension process myself, and also the news that comes to me through books or through the information in the channelings or in information on Facebook that's from my friends that I incorporate. What I feel is the opposite, is that we're very much on track and that it's going great, and that there's a lot of counterforce already installing and awakening and infiltrating within politics, within the finances, within the medical hierarchical world. Yeah, that's difficult.
Hierarchical world, hard one for
Thank you. Yeah. So excuse my English sometimes because it's not my native tongue, but I'll do my best. So I noticed that a lot of change is there, and mainly where I see this happening also is that in the bigger picture it is happening, but also in the process of the people that are coming to me in the sessions and in the groups and in the workshops, is that they're all going to a very rapid change right now. And that has to do with all the light emissions, the strong atomic light emissions that come in from the central sun and from the solar system. And it's really giving some people also ascension trouble, like they're feeling fatigue, they're feeling a bit disorientated, they feel like going to puberty, they feel like physically they are in a transformation process, and they feel that within their bodies, and also that when they are in that process, they start to evolve so much that their normal surroundings don't fit anymore. Mm-hmm. So they don't fit into their jobs, and they don't fit in. Some people don't resonate with them anymore within their families and within their friends, but new self-chosen families come, and that's why it's nice to have people who surround you, even if it's only once a month or once a week, that share the same process.
Yeah. So we talked. I agree with you, and I'm sure most people can identify with that. I think, I've gone through a huge transition in the last, say, 3 years. Just being more in alignment with what my calling, my mission, and really embracing that, and then finally finding that flow and support that I needed. But I went through this sort of not devastation, but I would say pretty unfamiliar territory I entered in having to learn to let go of things and just trust. And it was just, I would think I would have it and then fall down again. I would have it and I'd fall down again. It was so, it was so unbelievable. And you look around in the 3D world and you're like, how is everything that I was doing before just not working anymore? Like, how is it I'm not able to have the same stability that I had before? And I had to learn to even redefine my word for stability. I had to redefine so many words that it's very humbling, and it's really, you have to reevaluate. You have to sort through, let go, everything. So you said something when we were having our conversation today. You said it's like a silent revolution that's happening.
Yes, exactly. It's like you don't see it in the regular media, and a lot of people, because of the light emissions and because of the galactic help, and a lot of light workers came into this time as volunteering for this transformation, and they are waking up in a very fast way. And I see that happening around me. And what you are saying, that the revolution is that people, when they change, they spread that in their surroundings as well. They spread that in their work. They are becoming more self-employed and start up businesses that are more in alignment with the new earth energies, and they start initiatives that feel good to them in following their path, in bringing more light into their lives. And the first stages of that, what I notice with people is that when they want to raise their frequency, and that's the main part of that, is that they have to do a cleansing. So there's a period of chaos and period of when the first heightening of energies are rising, is that all the old stuff that's within your closets come up. It's like mainly the insecurities and all the installed fears over the years, what we took from our youth, and all the schooling and all the friends and all the good advices from adults around us, we incorporated within our system. And those are the sentences, the mental sentences that are running, are the programs on a subconscious level, and these are providing us to take chances and to go into change. And because change is fear, stalls fear, because that's a sort of connected double bind. Mm-hmm. When I go into change, it's going to be fearful for me. I won't be able to support myself. I won't be able to take care of myself. Nobody will love me anymore. All the basic things, and I won't have a house, and I won't have friends. But actually, what happens is that it's gradual, and everybody gets through this. It's functional to go through that chaotic phase, and it brings you a lot of lessons.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's helpful to let somebody help you. Most of it is just a normal evolution of yourself, and this when this starts on, and that's why it's a silent revolution. It's when it's I now remember a book I read in the 90s, Merlin Ferguson, the Aquarius Revolution, was also talking about this. This was early stages. And actually, this is as the grounding of what was started then, more in a vibrational way, is that a lot of people who are waking up are taking their surroundings with them.
Right. You can't, huh? You can't take your surroundings with you. That's the thing. A lot of it is you really can't take your surroundings.
Not all, but a lot. I notice in my personal life that that my I'm just being honest about what I do and what my line of work is and what I encounter in that, and just by confronting people with that, they are first more interested, and sometimes they don't get it, but they know it comes from a good heart and from an honest soul, and so they're more willing to take in that information, and they change. A dear friend of mine is now into crystals, feeling crystals, and feeling the vibrations, and it's just opening up to what's more than the sense, the physical senses you have.
Right.
Because intuition is something that's very easy reachable for everybody in this time.
Right. Right. I know that, in the last few years, I've slowly started to, my thing was always, and I'm sure some people are there, but it's a much different world than it was even 10 years ago when it comes to spirituality. But I always had my worlds very separate, and I had my sort of work world, I had my music world, I had my spiritual world, and none of them really intersected.
Mm-hmm.
And part of the big transition has been to sort of bring the spirituality into the very forefront and fearlessly, and once it takes a long time. It takes a while. Less probably than now than in the past, but it still takes time. And I know when people ask me now what I do, I just start laughing, and I'm like, well, I counsel people on the phone a lot of the times, and they're like, oh, like a psychologist? I said, well, more like a psychic. So I'm trying to still really own it. I'm trying to own it, and they always sort of kind of go, oh, well, I have a question. Then they want something, But it's an interesting thing to sort of really own it. Say, this is who I am. I have these interests and abilities, and then it's different than when you're just sort of waking up into it and you're thinking, what do I do now? How do I proceed with this? How do I proceed? So.
Well, I also notice it, and it's you still have to know who you're talking to, and perhaps adapt your words a bit in what they can take in.
Yeah.
So, for example, when I compare this to 5 years ago, we have in Holland here, we have 5 or 6 spiritual magazines that are really thriving, and one is called Happiness, and it's the second or third most bought magazine in Holland right now. And also, when you look at yoga schools or qigong schools, in my little town there are about I think 15 or something like that. So people are really getting more involved on an entry level in that spiritual, and meditation is part of that too. Mindfulness is really great. Also becoming very known within the business world,
Yeah.
and accepted within the business world.
Yeah.
Because it comes from a more scientific corner, but it's actually what like the Indian Vedas already taught how to become more quiet within yourself, and
yeah. I was just looking at some of the things that I jotted down when I was speaking to you, and would it be interesting for you to talk about ascension, the needs of sort of revisiting your pre-assigned contracts, the things that you sort of have to go through to let go before, because people, they wake up, they say, oh, I'm a light worker. What does that mean? What do I have to do? What is my mission? And we were discussing that a lot of times people will ask, what is their mission? And I always say to people, it's not for me to tell you your mission.
Yeah.
I'm not going to.
I hear laughing in my head now. This is Delguy. That's I always, when I do this kind of work, I'm always traveling as a group, so I'm in tune with my galactic friends, as you call them, and what he's saying is, you always want to know where you are going. You always want to know what your mission is, and they won't tell you. What is there's the ones that are coming in more consciously and as volunteers for assisting in this time of ascension. They pre-agreed before this incarnation with their guidance that at a certain point they want to awaken, or coming into what I call the quickening, is that an acceleration of your awakening. And then what I notice is your guides are becoming very active. And it's like going to the car wash. The best thing to do then is to just surrender, because you have to steer the car towards the thing that takes your wheel.
Yeah.
I don't know how it's called.
I don't know. And then it's a chain that pulls your car.
Exactly. And then from that moment on, you have to do like this, like just let your guidance take over, because they know exactly how you need to awaken, and what needs to awaken within your personal ascension process first. As this is not a linear process. This is it's something that is more of a holistic process, and they know exactly what to bring on your path in synchronicities, and you overhear conversations when you're on a terrace. They bring books on your path, or you stumble upon a certain YouTube, or they make you really curious about certain power places on Earth, where there are sacred sites, and where there are the memories of old existences within your soul consciousness that are awakening by going to those places. For me, that was Egypt. I'm back for the second time from Egypt now, and this really was, for me, was opening up the strong Hathor connection, and I've been there as an Isis priestess in the Isis temple. So that kind of memories awaken when you go to that kind of places. And it's sort of, your guides are really, they're always there. They're always there for you, and always are guiding you through your life. But at the point of becoming into your higher spiritual and personal power, they are allowed by your decree to intervene and bring it in the way they see fit because of their oversight.
Yeah, because that they have the ability to see things from a different perspective. Because
Exactly, yeah.
Sorry, I was muted, but I was just saying, just because they have the ability to see things from a higher perspective, that gives them a fuller picture. And like your guide was saying, we always want to know where we're going, but you said something earlier too about the fact that the journey is not linear.
Yeah, exactly. It's a holistic process, and it sometimes goes in a circular way as well, as that when you are working on releasing old fears or old programming, you feel lighter, and that in a certain for a while you feel like you're really going into the right direction, feeling more light, feeling more intuitive. Your higher sensory perception kicks in, and then at a certain point you hit a sort of glass ceiling, and then it turns out that there are more engraved old stuff still incorporated within your physical memory and within your emotional bodies that need some clearing. Most people, what I find is there are one or two really core themes that they take over lifetimes. And it's really good when you hit something like that to either to do journaling, so that you can see the returning things that are coming up, the ideas that are coming up, and perhaps with meditating on it or with dreaming on it, it's possible to find out what the theme is.
Right.
Sometimes it's so hurtful that it needs somebody else to give some assistance and to help you with the subconscious part of it.
Because do you agree that sometimes it's not so important to dive into all the detail of what something is, but that you can just, if you can release it, and sometimes that's what you need assistance with, to identify it and to release it, so that you don't want to embed it even more by
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think within these higher energies and a lot of things dissolve by light and love.
Right.
So they don't need the work that was done formally, but some of the things you take with you over lifetimes, and these are so karmically heavy that you, especially for those who come in as a light worker, they come in with a lot of their higher connections still somewhere there in the background, and that they are powerful people.
Right.
And so they bring that in to get rid of that once and for all. And it doesn't. What I notice is within in former years, you had to go through psychoanalysis for a year or something to walk circles around the theme. And now it's just one session, and when you really can concentrate and get that line clear to the first point that it was engraved, and it just needs a few visits on that timeline to see what the theme is about and what is a recurrent thing, then it's resolved. And within the Stargate, we'll tell you about that later. Within these higher energies, it's for people. It's very easy to go into meditation very deep, very soon, very quickly, and also to bring in healing light after that, because we always work with my guidance and their guidance.
Right.
So a lot of things are, these sessions are really multidimensional. Actually, all the work I do is really multidimensional, and with a lot of assistance, light assistance.
I know that. Well, there's a question from Wendy, and I'll let you answer it. But she says she wants to know how to contact you. She says, I need serious dysfunction. I don't know what that means, but I think she's saying she's in serious dysfunction, and she said she has a serious problem connecting to herself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that can be that when something really really hurtful is happening to you, you sort of you sort of dissociate from it, and it becomes something within your body system. It's always something. There's always a physical component that you can that you store it in your tummy, or you store it in a breast, or you store it in the tension in your shoulders, we out of a survival mode, we become so good at that to keep that into place. But know that when you want to keep it in place, it always costs you energy. So it makes you tired, because you have to, even if it's not within your conscious realm, it always costs you energy. And people feel a lot more relieved and free once those kinds of dissociations are removed.
Right. I know that you can associate it with a lot of things. I always look for the gift in the moment, and the fact that you've identified that you have something holding you back is just puts you right on the cusp of letting it go. And a lot of times people get stuck in the idea of that there's something holding them back, and then they create a whole story about that something, as opposed to, embracing the idea of really letting it go. And so see it as the opportunity to know that it's probably time to let it go. And with synchronicity and the universe being as it is, the fact that you're saying that and running into a person who says that's what they do, then that's probably a very good.
And a lot of that is released that way.
Yeah.
And for some it is, for some it has been, some people it has been so traumatic that it's really sort of dissociated you from yourself. It's like what for instance happening with when you have incest things within your youth, and have people who you should trust the most violence that kind of trust. This can create a big problem within your how you accept yourself physically, and how you view yourself, and how you place yourself into the world. And that can be quite heavy to do that process yourself. But it's what I notice is it's in these times, and with the help we have, it's so easy to resolve that.
Perfect. Yeah, I would just think that it wouldn't start coming up for you if it wasn't supposed to be cleared, if it wasn't supposed to be identified. It's when we push it down, we're just, we're emphasizing our own blocks, and we're, so even though things are painful or, scary, sometimes you get the points for bravery for dealing with it. You get the blessings for even being daring to open up for that pain.
And also to know that in the core we're all light beings and we're amazing.
Yes.
It's just the veiling of the consciousness that veils us from our true self is that we get so stuck on the small things. Yes. That is having the resistance in our lives.
Yes.
And when we get in connection, it's what you just said triggered in me, that what I do within my session is to work with the higher self of the person, so to localize what is happening, and then let the person integrate for as much as can the higher self, and then let those two connect.
Right.
And that's sometimes just by energy releases what is happening, and a lot has to do with being self-conscious and insecure and self-doubt, for not being appreciated.
Right.
A lot of people, we were so into separation that everybody was so fencing for himself, that also parents and schools, and it's a whole system based on survival.
Yeah.
So this is the result of that.
Yeah.
And when light workers or people who go into this process of ascension awake, this is the shit that comes up first. It's just how it is. It has like bubbles into a swamp. It comes because it can't. Those lower vibrations can't exist within these heightening energies.
No, they can't.
And they want to be cleared. Yeah.
They want to be cleared. That's true. Yes. David has a question. Are you able to accept a question? Go ahead, David.
Okay, took a second to unmute. Hello, how are you?
Okay. Hi, I'm fine, thank you.
So, really interesting. I just joined the Light Languages group, and apparently I can speak it really fluently, really well, and I'm interested. Like I did some of the language, and people felt really strong energy in connection with my healing abilities, or maybe just the language itself. And I'm wondering about how is this going to affect me physically, and what are some of your perceptions and guidance on doing the light language for people? What do I do with it?
Well, there's a few aspects to that. Is first, when it's evolving within you in a sort of natural way, it's supposed to be, and it's what is natural, and it's what is opening up within your higher spiritual abilities. And so when it's there, use it. But because we open up our higher potential by using it. That's one thing. And by using it also for other people, even if you don't know exactly what you're saying, know that light language always have a resonance on the background. Light language. Can you Karen, do we have to shut down or? Okay, light language always is light encoded. This is one of the ways light language is bringing in light. It's like you're doing toning, like you're doing, also when you're speaking, it is always encoded with light, especially when it comes from the heart, especially when it comes from intention towards the light, or bringing in with service to others instead of service to self. So it's when you do that, the light comes through you. It comes in through your telepathic channel, and when working with that, it always benefits you. For example, when I do a group or a session, sometimes I'm human and I'm tired and I had a busy day, and when I start a group, I'm tired. And I do it anyway. And then when the group is finished, by all the energies that were there, by all the channeling that went through me, or the light language or the toning, it fills me up with light as well. So it's very beneficial for you. So use it as much as you can.
Okay. Yeah. So I was wondering because I felt really strong energy from it, and then I felt like I couldn't drink. Like I had a small amount of beer, and I felt too much energy. It felt uncomfortable, so I stopped drinking for quite a few days, and then I've just been feeling super tired. Like I would work and I'd come back and I'd sleep 9-10 hours, but I'd still feel tired the next day also.
I'm very glad that you bring this up, because this is what's happening to a lot of people who are opening up. A lot of us are opening up to our higher chakras very easily, especially the light workers, the ones who come in with more remembrance to their light existence. What is more difficult for us is to really go into the earth, really embrace the earth life, really embrace the normal and the physical, and really ground. So there is nothing in balance opening up there in your higher chakras when you don't do the grounding work first. So you always have to do this in co-creation with Mother Earth. With everything you do in light work, you always have to really, really ground yourself and connect to her core, her earth core, and feel her energies going through you, or pushing your all your resistance out of your system to become a clear channel, and anchoring that energy within the earth, to bring that in, and that will help you to do this in a more balanced way.
Okay, that sounds really good. Thank you. Much love.
Do you want to give an example of how the best way to ground would be?
I could give you. We could do a grounding exercise if you want to.
Yeah, we can do that.
I could tell, or we could do a grounding exercise.
I think it would be a good idea to do one for everyone. Right. Just because I think that's a very important thing to think. Everyone, it's so good that you said that, what you asked, David, because it's so very true. Everyone's so very interested in, connecting to the stars and reaching out and finding it. Yeah. Find out why their life is like in free fall. Yeah. It's very difficult. You're so open from sort of, the solar plexus up. And then the rest of you is kind of getting ignored or forgotten about. That is just as important. I don't know if anyone used to listen to American Top 40, but there was a great saying this DJ said. He would say, "Keep your feet on the ground, but keep reaching for the stars." Yeah. It's a really pertinent and true saying that we've really forgotten. And I think because the idea was to, it's been to sort of connect to our higher self, our higher knowing, but we've forgotten that we are, we are on this planet here, and the beautiful, amazing energy of connecting through the feet as well. Mm-hmm. So I think it's really exciting. So I think it would be very good to
you could re-listen to this when we do this grounding exercise. This is one of the grounding exercises I use in the sessions and in the group. I always ground people also when working with people. I ground people in front of that, or guide them with a meditation through the grounding. And so, because when you are in a transformation or you're going to clear something, it's always important to be able to get rid of that energy. And the best way to do that is give it or surrender it to Mother Earth to make it neutral again. So if the ones who want to join, or the ones who don't want to join, can just watch me make funny faces.
Okay.
Close your eyes and focus, and make sure you're sitting comfortably with your feet flat on the ground, and supported by your chair. And then focus your attention on your breath in a natural flow, just in and out. It's always good to start with the breath, because the breath will give us an easy access from the outside world into our inner world. keep our eyes closed to concentrate our attention inside. And with every in-breath, you place your attention a bit more inside your body. No specific focus, just floating, being there, present. And then slowly focus your attention on the area of your heart. Your heart is the center, core space where your whole beingness is being around. It's your physical center, it's your light body center. And from this place of your heart, you make a light cord down through your solar plexus chakra, through your sacral chakra in your tummy, through your base chakra, right down on your spine, and further down below your feet, on the underside of your aura, there is a chakra, a new chakra, that's your earth portal chakra. And just by attention, giving it attention, it opens more. It connects you to the mother energy of Mother Earth. You bring your attention down, down, deep into her body until you reach the central core crystal of her body, her physical heart. Now, what we're doing now is a normal grounding. To make this more, especially for people who are working with others or working with energies, more powerful in the magnetic field, is below, about half a meter below your aura, you can visualize a disc, a magnetic disc of light. And when you do this now, just observe what happens to the soles of your feet. The more often you use this exercise, you will feel them react immediately. Feel them tingle, feel them more thick, feel them activated. The magnetic pull of this disc will ground you even stronger. We'll bring our attention deep into the earth again, to the central crystal of Mother Earth. And always, when we connect to her as she is our Earth Mother, every little cell, every little particle of us is made from her body, and we're living in her light field. She will always bring her energy up to us. Her energy is a golden white light, a bit thicker in consistency, almost opaque. And this light is streaming up your light cord now. Activating the disc even further. Going up to your earth portal chakra. on the bottom of your aura, going up, streaming into your body at your base chakra, your sacral chakra in your body. Your solar plexus, and up into your heart. And here you feel that this stream of energy is filling your whole heart space and overflowing when this is saturated within your whole body. And when this is saturated within your whole light body. It's beautiful, loving, nurturing, living prana energy of Mother Earth. And when this heart of yours is saturated now, you do the same, connecting to the Father energy by going up your prana channel from your heart to your throat chakra, to your third eye chakra in the center of your head, to your crown chakra on top of your head, and on top of your aura there is your cosmic portal chakra, which opens by giving it attention, and you connect with your light from your heart and your gratitude for all that is given to you. Gratitude is a high energy and makes this connection easier. You connect to the soul, the star we are connected to gives us energy, that is our sun. And our sun itself is a portal that connects us to the galactic center. But connecting to the sun is sufficient. And when you do this, you feel this beautiful cosmic light streaming down. It is somewhat different in substance. It's more of an electrical current light, more white blue in substance, more crispy light, more like a light TL light. I don't know the word for that in English, but you get adjust and you let that stream down into your opened cosmic portal chakra, your crown, your third eye chakra, your throat, into your heart. And there this white, blue light mixes with the mother energy of Mother Earth, female and male energy. And we make in ourselves the Holy Trinity of the Father, the Sacred Father energy, the Sacred Mother energy, and ourselves as the child receiving. So now this is a good way that you are vertically grounded within the cosmic energies and the earth energies. Main focus is on the earth energies when you do spiritual work, working with light. Also, for those of you who want to open up more to their guidance, it is important to, when in a quiet surroundings, expand your field. In a normal situation, your field is more contracted, more close to your body. And just like you are able to spread out your arms, it listens to your intention. So now, when you give it the intention to expand to the front, to the back, to the left, to the right, on top and below, this field of perception of your consciousness, which you hold of your surroundings within your consciousness, what you can perceive is expanded, and this assists you in feeling more of the finer attuned energies around you. Opens up your sensory perception for colors, for light, for information. When you are moving into situations that are evolving more, people that are involving street noises or negative energies, be sure to draw this field of your consciousness more inside toward you. A lot of us who are opening up into our higher chakras also automatically expand our fields. This makes us very susceptible to all kinds of informations and feelings around us that doesn't belong to us, belong to other people, and this can make us tired, can make us dragging along negativity that is not ours or meant for us. So it's always good to become more aware of what your light field and your consciousness field is doing, and drawing it more in when coming into situations with more people, or outside on the street, on a market, in a museum. So now, very gently for yourself, bring your attention back to your body, your awareness. Feel your feet on the ground, feel your buttock on the chair. And when you're ready, you can move around and stretch and open your eyes and bring your awareness back into our space together. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That was wonderful.
So the grounding disc is a good tool to assist you when you need really heavy grounding, and especially for those of us who are opening up to a channeling, extra grounding is necessary. The more grounded we are, the higher dimensional frequencies we can receive in our telepathic communication.
Right, because we have a place for them. We can integrate them, and actually, our capacity to receive is like we become not denser, but more. We have more room within ourselves to.
Exactly. Yes.
I thought it was very important what you said about, expanding and contracting your own energy. So much of the time, this is why meditation is so important. We just get up in the morning and we run out the door.
Yeah.
We're very unconscious about ourselves as multidimensional light beings who have an energy field that can be impacted by all the energies floating around. And so if you do just take those few moments, and that also, the more conscious you are of it in its totality, the less you forget yourself. So you're able to, just before you go out in the day, set your intention for the day, but you maybe think about where you're going. Are you going to a place where you need to just, you know, of course, be grounded, but at the same time, you don't want to be taking in all the energies. It's when you're in your own space and in your own time, when you're taking stuff in, you know, that's when you want to be expanded. I think so many times people always say, "Oh, I'm not in control of my energy, and people are sucking my energy, and you know, and all these things." But it's because they're so expanded. They need to be a little bit more contracted, and that's really down to the person to take the responsibility. Really, I mean, it's a big learning to do it, but it's just a nice opportunity you're giving everyone to remember that they're in control of their energy, and no one out there is really sucking their energy. They're giving it away by being so open and being so, not grounded, really. Yeah. So.
And it's a luxury we can't afford when our frequency is rising.
Right.
We automatically become more sensitive, and you need to learn how to deal with being more sensitive in a not so sensitive world.
Oh, that's a nice thing to say. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah. It's a quotable quote. Learn how to be sensitive in a not so sensitive world. Very nice. Okay, we do have another question, and that's from Delik. Delik, do you want to ask your question, or was your question answered in the grounding?
Yeah, actually, much of it actually was answered from that grounding session. But I do have more direct in terms of working with your own, higher self. Because one of the reasons I realize is that the higher self, like you said, is not some of the energies that higher self provide. It actually works well when you're alone and thinking about your understanding. But when you go back to working with others, where their densities or their levels of understanding is a little different, and because of that, that information, like you said, comes into our our aura. So what do you think is the best way in terms of just letting our higher self prioritize or our soul prioritize what we need to do? Because even with the people that is around us, some things that I feel like we don't do is that we don't let our higher self do what it needs to do. We let other things come into our life. So how do I give that more freedom to my higher self to do whatever the actions that it needs to do do the healing properly?
Okay, so when you are inviting your higher self in, it doesn't get much closer than that. It's you on a higher level of vibration. So it's good to have your expanded wisdom, expanded knowledge, expanded experience at hand. So that's always a good thing to do. I always work when I work with other people. And this is what I teach also in my channeling classes, is to always have a sort of ritual you do. First of all, ground yourself, and then invite your higher self in to merge with you as much as possible within your energy. The higher the frequency gets, the more light you can hold, and the more your higher self will integrate. And always invite your guides and your angel, because they are there. Even if you don't have direct contact with them, they are always there. They are there from birth, and you need them, especially when you're going into your light work. You need them present.
Right. What is the I guess how do I communicate? Because something I've mostly done is I've done a lot of my internal work. I mean, there was a lot of teachers I had, but with my own self, like I didn't ask specifically, my guides to help me or whatever. I didn't ask because something I cannot see, right? So I'm relying on the things that I can and the teachers who I can see and talk to. So when I'm participating on these beings who are not materialized in the third dimension, what kind of approach? Because obviously I can't tell myself these things exist. It doesn't go with my truth. All I have is basically evidence that's there, right? So what I do have is like you guys, and where continually helping me, where I can rely on. So when I'm communicating with these beings who are external to me, who I cannot see, what's the approach that I should, or mindset I should have?
Well, if you're doing it from the heart, you're always centered in the heart, and you're doing it with the best intention for the highest light and for service, not service to self, but service in general for the greater good. That can be service to self as well, but also the other part incorporated. It's then you won't attract dark, because dark doesn't come in where higher light is asked for. Also, that's part of it, why you always should incorporate your higher self and your guides into what you want to do. So when you want to have more contact with your guidance, it's good to. It's like actually the thing that and this is what I teach in my courses as well, is what is most in the way is our self-conscious.
Right.
When I teach those open to channel courses, I think everybody is thinking, you will see. Everybody will have contact with their guides on the end of the course, but me. And everybody gets there. What's in the way is your self-conscious, because they are reaching out to you from the other side. It's a very, very joyful moment of them when they can get into when they can get into a straight contact with you as well. But your telepathic channel is a part of a physical thing that is that needs to open, and it incorporates the higher heart that needs to open. It needs your throat chakra being opened, and especially the throat chakra holds a lot of all the sentences we say to ourselves, and the insecurities, and so it's it needs the activation of the pineal gland. And when the pineal gland, which is by most people is during their lives is a bit calcified, needs to decalcify, and you decalcify it simply by using it. So what you should do is when you open your higher heart, this is what you can do with the meditation I just taught. You just sit there with the best intentions. You open up you expand your field, open up and reach out to the cosmic energies, to the higher light of your guide, and ask them to come in.
Got it.
What is a very good way to do before you work with people, before you go into sound channeling, is to just learn to ride the bike, because you can be gifted the bike and you have the bike, because that's part of your physical the way the physical built in. It's a DNA thing. It's your higher potential that is opening. It's the normal evolution step we make as human beings, but you need to activate it by using it, and you need to open it, and by practicing. And what Alaya, the one that's my Pleiadian higher self, is said when she taught me to open to channel, said ask the silly questions first. So start by creating an environment for yourself that you feel comfortable in. Make it nice. Make a candle. Buy a nice book, nice new pen for yourself, like going to the first, first going to school again, and a nice how do you say that, block of writing paper. And then start asking questions and be patient with yourself, because the answers will come, but they will come in slowly. They will come in, and you can ask for single words first, but it's important. Most of the people, most of the guides who are communicating with us are used to telepathic communication, and that is they are used to communicate in light bringing the whole package from one point to another. And we need to agree with them that we converse with them in voice, if you want to, in words, if you want to do that. If you just want to use their light for healing, it's another question. But if you want to channel, you need to agree with them and to ask them to bring their information in words. And then you ask for the first word, and they bring in a word, and you just go what first comes to mind. Don't go into any judgment. Don't go to in any trying to know what it means. Just accept that they bring in. It's clearing the channel. And then when that part flows, you can ask for a sentence, or you can ask for a question, and then wait for the answer. And when doing this with automatic writing, it gives you a way to focus yourself, to not be in your mind and just being listening, but you're focusing yourself on something to write down, and it brings it in more easily. So that's to do it, to practice.
That's a great explanation. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you. Ooh, okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, there's another question that was beautiful. There's something else that during the meditation you said the attention on the galactic portal opens it. The attention on the inner Earth portal. I don't know what you call it. Ground.
The Earth. Yeah, the Earth portal. It's below your chakra. It's like you can envision it as a lens of a photo camera opening up. It's like when you put your attention to it, what everything you put your attention to activates.
Right.
And that's what you're doing. So it opens up a bit more, letting more light through from you down, but also letting more light up from Mother Earth.
Yes, and I did feel the tingle on my feet. I did feel the pull.
So did you feel that when you visualized that Earth disc?
Yeah.
Did you feel the tingle on your feet? Because that, for me, once you use it, once you use it more, and it becomes more into your normal system, it really feel it immediately. Like you're grounded, like so.
Yes. It was awesome. I loved it. My phone's starting to go, so I'm trying to turn it.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not calling you though. So yeah, that was really good. And the other thing that I heard as you were saying that I heard like the password to opening your galactic portal is appreciation.
It is. Appreciation and gratitude is one of the highest. Like love is one of the highest vibrations.
Right.
And when you bring that up, it makes it easier for higher light to connect.
Right. Yeah. I just, those are the things that popped out at me that I really liked. I wanted to point out. Okay, Heather Riney, she's in the YouTube chat, and she said, I just started being able to connect with source energy during meditation. How can I increase communication to better understand the messages and who they are? Okay.
We have a very, when you are, the best way to discern whether this is your guidance or this is benevolent, is to trust your feelings. Just feel whether this feels like an embrace, feels like there is love brought in, there is respect for you. This is what you feel when higher light comes in. It always is accompanied by love. And when you want to know, we have a thing, and the Galactics don't all share that, because they recognize themselves by energy signature, and so we always ask for a name or we want to know who we're talking to, and most of them will honor that and introduce themselves as the Arcturians, as the Sirians, or with a name. Most of the higher light beings work in collectives. That's part of when you lose your ego sense. You can become more service to self, not service to self, but service to the higher good. The best way to do that is to bring the best of both worlds, of more worlds, and combine each other's strengths, combine each other's wisdom. And it's nice to work together because you're not in competition anymore. Right. So they work together in specific alliances or councils or just collectives of beings that work together. Like my Arcturian collective is 63 units, persons, you can say, with 5 races within that collective. So when they introduce themselves, sometimes one of the collective steps forward to introduce, to make that adjustment to you, to have a name. Or sometimes when that's more difficult to hear, because you don't hear, but you sense, feel. It's more combined within your inner perception than within your physical senses. But when you receive that information, let's put it that way, it's sometimes more difficult to get the words first. So ask them for a symbol, because then they will bring in a sign or a symbol that is more easy for you to see, and that acts as a key to connect to them, to their energy.
Right.
Yeah. I hope this answers your question, because it was elaborating.
Well, she can write some more, and if she has further questions, she can go forward. Ella has a question in the chat. Go ahead, Ella.
Hey, it's Elena from Bulgaria, and
hi.
Hello, Janna.
Hi, Elena. Hi.
I just want to say thank you. I listened to your last visit here in the Hucolo, and it was amazing with the toning and everything.
Oh, thank you.
Oh my God, this multidimensional toning was really good. We are building a community, and it's still in progress, but as soon as we can do something like gathering, I would love to invite you to visit Bulgaria, because we're close together, and it will be a very, very nice meeting.
Okay, that's good. It's wonderful. I would love that.
So much love, all the protection, and a lot of positive vibes from us.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Elena was one of the people who was with a tribe we went to Egypt with.
Oh, nice.
She visited me in Holland, so it's nice.
Oh, that's lovely. I don't see any other questions at the moment in the chat, so if anyone has a question, please put a Q in the chat room. But I was going to say, because we have some time, why don't you talk a little bit about the Stargate, so that we don't
yeah, and there's also one other topic that I would love to bring in, is that as a lot of the Hucolo family is in certain ways, certain steps of ascension and becoming of service. It's also good to talk a bit about that, in what way you can do that, because people and then of course I will talk about Stargate somewhere. Because a lot of people have the thought process is, when you become a light worker, that you have to become a therapist or a yoga teacher or a profession that is what we know as spiritual, and a lot of the light work that is done is simply by being a walking light. So it's what my guides say. It's threefold. It's one is when you once you go into that ascension process and that quickening, make it the center of your attention, because that will bring you through that chaos, through those phases of that transition as fast as possible, as gentle as possible, and with the most grace, because they will help you. And once you do that, you're not only doing that for yourself, you're doing that for your for humanity. You're doing that for the collective consciousness of humanity. And that is where a lot of the dark still is. And that's what we are changing as light workers. The more we do our own work, the more we bring in the light for our human collective. When we raise our frequency, we bring that into the human collective. And the more of us bringing that in, then you get a certain critical point that it shifts. And this is what the galactics are waiting for. They know that they heard our heart call. They heard our willingness to ascend and to ask for help. But they are waiting for the bigger part of humanity to make that shift before they can bring in the what some of them call the event.
Right.
Yeah, so that's one part. And the other part is being a light worker, is that some of us are, when we raise our frequency, we become walking channels, we become pillars of light. And that's part of the light work we came in to do, is grounding the light through us into the core of Mother Earth, because we're doing this in tandem with her. We're doing this in co-creation with her. She is a living planet. She is a living entity. She is ascending because she is ascending, and we are electrical, magnetic beings fully connected to her. We ascend with her, but we also, by our free will, connected to our own soul self, our higher selves, our collective, our galactic collectives we work with, and are able to bring in light by our intention, in meditation, and ground that light into her body. And this helps her tremendously to do her own ascension, because she is taking in all the energies that are going woo, all around the earth, and that is reflected in the weather patterns.
Okay.
So the galactics are doing a lot of equalizing this, and they help her and us to not be surrounded by storms all the time. But we can do a lot. The ones of us that are waking up more can do a lot of work just by taking time out, or doing that group meditations, or doing that in Hangout meditations on Google, to focus on bringing in the light as a column, as good light, and when we bring in that light, also that's another part. We are, with our thoughts, we are very strong co-creator and co-creators for the new earth. Yeah. And the higher our energies become, the more quicker we are, and more strongly we are co-creators for the new earth. So we bring in the formats, we bring in the new energies, we bring in the new concepts, the new paradigms. And by doing this more consciously, so being really discerning on what you give your attention to and what you're thinking. So in your thinking, go towards the light. Don't watch the news too much. Don't go, because everything you pay your attention to is you're firing that up. You're giving that energy, and we need us to focus on amplifying the light.
You know, I just had a thought when we were talking about, well, I have several thoughts all the time, but the thought that I just had is about, you know, we not only are we not giving our energy, because whatever we focus on, we're activating, obviously, but there's no doubt why we are constantly bombarded with the opportunity to look at negative things.
Mm-hmm.
Those things want to be activated. They want our attention. They want our power. So
yes, that's what they do. This is what they're trained, is to by advertising, by movies, by television programming, by talk shows, by the regular media in newspapers and television. They want to keep us fearful.
yeah.
And this lowers our vibration, and they're not winning this game. So it's good to just sometimes good to neglect or not ignore, not neglect. Definitely not neglect your children, but ignore a child that's throwing a tantrum for a while. So
Right.
to just let it be.
Right.
And so it's focus on what you want to bring in, not what you don't want, because the universe doesn't make that difference.
Right.
It just talks in energy. It's just what your attention is that will bring it in.
Right. Exactly. You get the question a lot. It's like, you know, especially from people who are still dealing with a lot of religions and things like that. And there's this question of, why does God let these things happen? And the thing is, God isn't letting them happen. We're making them happen.
We have free will. Yeah.
Free will. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to confirm for you is that with Hucolo and Jim Charles, who is the main channel, he channels beings from a ship in our galaxy here, or above Earth here. And one of the things that they do is they because of not being able to make contact at this point in any kind of public way, they're very involved in taking care of the weather. And that's what they say it all the time. Well, we can't do this, but what we are doing is manipulating weather patterns.
But they can do more because our intention of those who are awakening within humanity goes out to the galactics and to the higher hierarchies as well, to want the call for help. And because we are part of an ascension of a larger planetary shift, a solar shift than just our own planet, they are allowed to intervene at some level. For example,
probably not in the public way that a lot of people are talking about, like landing on the ground. I think that's what I mean. But they are definitely involved.
Yeah, they are involved. They can intervene when nuclear threat is there. They can intervene when Fukushima stuff is happening and the seas are threatened by radiation, and they do a lot of good stuff like that.
Yes, exactly. So, is there something else that I'm just trying to see if there's any questions. If there's any questions, please let me know, guys. This has been an amazing conversation. I think I still want to hear about your Stargate. How you work with it.
Okay, the Stargate. The Stargate is as part of my Arcturian memories that were awakening. Working with portals was one of that, and in this life, when I opened up to that, the first portal I encountered was the Stargate. And the Stargate is the structure you see behind me, but actually it's a consciousness, a lot of a lot of constructs are just fields of energy, of experience. And this portal, the Stargate portal, is just one of that. It's a consciousness in itself. It's a consciousness field of all the experiences with Stargate and transportation of information from one place to another. And that can be all kinds of information. And because ultimately everything is light and information and love. And this Stargate that you see behind me is a structure, channeled information, how these geometries have to work together to ground this field. So it's basically an anchor. That's the function, but it's not. It's not like a machine generating the fields. It's our combined intention that brings it in.
So if someone wants to create a sort of Stargate in their own world, how do they do that? If someone wants to create something in their own place,
you can ask if this is something that is within your larger memory. You can ask to work with the Stargate, or with a portal. You can ask for a portal. And there are a lot of natural portals as well. A lot of the power places are portals, like the pyramids. And I will show you a photograph. When you are at those places, this is not a photograph I took myself. It's from one of the Egypt groups that was there and came along on my internet. I hope you can see it. Let me see. Is that when the photo of this girl was taken, a natural portal opened up.
Wow.
So this portal looks like this.
Yeah.
You can see it?
Yeah.
Okay. So there are a lot of natural portals all over the place now. And you can ask to and a lot of the planets, like the sun, is a portal. That's it. And we are walking portals in that way. So the Stargate is what sets it apart from other portals is that this is a portal that is multidimensional. And because it's multidimensional, the ones that are connecting to that field with their attention are automatically raised in their own frequency, like you become a Porsche instead of a Volkswagen for a while. And this it's like in spring when nature knows when to awaken. It's within your biology, within the structure of your cells, within the genetics and the DNA. Your higher spiritual potential is dormant. And when it is confronted with that higher light, and that is happening on a larger scale now with the larger light emissions coming in, but also when you are in a portal field like this, from the 3rd to the 12th dimension, and you get in that higher light, also amplified by the beings that come in from those higher dimension, you are at a sort of a smørrebrød, Swedish table with all kinds of. Yes, that's the one. And you are your DNA is confronted with a lot of different energies that are awakening specific aspects of your spiritual higher powers. So it's helpful in that way. And it's also when in those higher energies, it's very much easier to connect to guidance.
Right.
And so with everything I do, I work within the Stargate with the sessions and also with the larger workshops I give in Rotterdam, or with groups I give here. We get within the portal, we get a lot of we're very much helped and visited by a lot of beings that are helpful, and they bring in chambers of light, they bring in downloads, they bring in their own energy to, as a function of first contact, to open our vision to what is possible.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I like everything you're saying is ringing true.
So there's one thing that comes to mind now, and I don't know whether it's set in my head that I'm forgetting this, because this was what Delda I mentioned in front. It's also important. What part of the importance of doing light work is just being there to witness.
Right.
And this sounds very, very easy, but actually, within the quantum physics, the function of witnessing is bringing a wave function that doesn't have a labeling yet into a particle function, so brings it from non-locality into locality just by observing, just by doing that from compassion, with no judgment, with an open mind, and just holding space, so to say, for what is happening. We work for bringing in the new information. Right. And you can do that on a personal level. You can envision that how it would be if you are born, or you have your school diplomas, or you have your driver's license, and nobody is there to see it. It is important that it's witnessed. So that makes that it's grounded within the third dimension. And that's also a way we are being of service for Mother Earth, and for bringing in the new energies, and for holding space for everything that needs to happen. Our function as being a witness and space holder for that process. Am I clear, or is this?
No, I'm just taking it in.
Okay.
Taking it in. Thank you for that. I do say Don has a question.
Yeah.
And go ahead, Don. Why don't you ask your question, and then Delic, if you wanted to ask your question too for the rest of the audience.
Okay, my question today is, I see the Stargate portal behind you there. Yeah. I was wondering if within that portal, you could sit with your Bashar antenna and tune in more information into your total stream.
Yeah. Well, it's you could when you are sitting, literally sitting in the Stargate, it is it's centering light. I love to meditate in it, but it's actually the field that you are working within is an expanded field that is coming into the entire space we work in. So we are all in the portal, and this is just the anchor to anchor the energy in the third dimension. Is this answering your question?
Yes, it is to a degree, and I was just wondering if both devices would be an amplification to the total field of the communication.
It is definitely helping with amplifying. Yeah. So when you look on my site, and you look, I don't know on which page it is, you see that when I am meditating within the Stargate, or I think I have two little films on there. There are always a lot of orbs there in the space. It's always a lot of light beings there. And even people who come in for the first time, because one of the things I teach people to experience more with their enlarged light field, because we're used to doing that with our senses. But if your awareness is bigger, you can hear and see with your light field. They immediately feel the what it does. You learn to diversify between the different energies that come in, the energy signatures that come in, and that is because it's an amplifier.
Okay, thank you, Janna.
Okay,
I appreciate your answer.
Okay,
thank you. Blessings.
You too.
And Della had another question. Go ahead, Della. You said it was answered, but maybe you can confirm what was said.
Who has a question?
Delic had a question. He said he got his answer, but I wanted him to share his insider's question with the group, if he could. But I don't see him unmuting. Are you there, Delic? No? Okay. Well, we'll just let it go. Whatever you were saying did answer his question, so no worries for that. We only have like 6 minutes left. We have a very short amount of time. So I thought because you do such beautiful meditations and everything, maybe you could lead us on some other sort of meditation, quick 6 minute, 5 minute.
I could make some. I could ask the helpers to come in to do a sound blessing.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
Yeah. So I won't do my big bowl because I have to go back a bit because it's most of the time it's quite loud. So
Okay.
I'll go moving back a bit.
Okay.
So just close your eyes and focus your intention inside again. Just receiving this gift of light. No expectations, just relax within these energies as I bring in the sounds. One moment for tuning. Katana tahai kohonton tai te ortene kata hai ne katana uea hatai patar no katai tahai ye hai ne kata wana tatai continua nakataha nai Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Was this acceptable or too loud? It's mostly microphones go woo.
Yeah, it's the sound when it's coming through. I think the internet has a hard time sustaining the tone.
Okay.
So it comes through, but it was still very nice to see.
Okay, so you can cut it off at the end when.
No, it's okay. But it was beautiful, and I just want to thank you so very much for sharing your time and your wisdom and your insight to what you're doing, and to offer yourself as an ascension guide and someone that can help light workers, especially helping light workers, because light workers are the ones guiding people, but who guides them? So it's very nice to have had you and to have that on offer. If people want to get in touch with you, they go to your website. And what is your website?
𝗪𝗡𝗕𝗓𝗓𝗏𝒡.com.
Okay, it's on the YouTube chat. If you're interested in that, and you do private sessions, you do group things. You're also doing some things coming online. So people who are close to the Netherlands and can drive to the area of Amsterdam, then they would be able to meet with you for sure.
Yes, and also the groups are the set. I'm doing a retreat in the Belgian Ardennes in the summer, so that's also nice. And for the sessions, it doesn't matter because then you can just do it on Skype or on Google Hangout.
Perfect. So
thank you for telling that.
Yeah, well, please get in touch with Janna, and yes, you're definitely invited back at another time. So again, thank you so very much.
Okay, thank you, sweet Karen. Thank you, and thank you all guys for joining and for your questions.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. So just for everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. Next week, Jim will be back, and then the week after that, we'll have Rob Gauthier. So a lot to look forward for.
Yay!
Look forward to, and I hope to see you stay warm. It was as we were sitting here, we had ice coming down. I don't know what's going on. So the Mother Earth is balancing the energies with the weather. So much love to you, and we'll see you.
Thank you.
We'll see you next
Bye.
week. Bye.